delve into key trends, pressing challenges, and strategic pathways to enhance productivity in the agricultural sector. Agriculture and labor productivity in Sri Lanka. Trends and way forward dive into the groundbreaking work of Senior Professor H.D. Karunaratne, former Vice Chancellor, University of Colombo, Chair Professor, Department of Business Economics, Faculty of Management and Finance, University of Colombo. Mark your calendars. 1st May 2025, 7 p.m. Let's explore solutions together. Be part of the transformation. Pre-Symposium Webinar Series, Episode 4, International Symposium on Agriculture in 2025. Interested in the future of agriculture and labor productivity in Sri Lanka? Join us for an insightful session as we delve into key trends, pressing challenges, and strategic pathways to enhance productivity in the agricultural sector. Agriculture and labor productivity in Sri Lanka. Trends and way forward dive into the groundbreaking work of Senior Professor H.D. Karunaratne, former Vice Chancellor, University of Colombo, Chair Professor, Department of Business Economics, Faculty of Management and Finance, University of Colombo. Mark your calendars. 1st May 2025, 7 p.m. onwards. Let's explore solutions together. Be part of the transformation. Pre-Symposium Webinar Series, Episode 4, International Symposium on Agriculture and Environment 2025. Interested in the future of agriculture and labor productivity in Sri Lanka? Join us for an insightful session as we delve into key trends, pressing challenges, and strategic pathways to enhance productivity in the agricultural sector. Agriculture and labor productivity in Sri Lanka. Trends and way forward dive into the groundbreaking work of Senior Professor H.D. Karunaratne, former Vice Chancellor, University of Colombo, Chair Professor, Department of Business Economics, Faculty of Management and Finance, University of Colombo. Mark your calendars. 1st May 2025, 7 p.m. onwards. Let's explore solutions together. Be part of the transformation. Pre-Symposium Webinar Series, Episode 4, International Symposium on Agriculture and Environment 2025. Interested in the future of agriculture and labor productivity in Sri Lanka? Join us for an insightful session as we delve into key trends, pressing challenges, and strategic pathways to enhance productivity in the agricultural sector. Agriculture and labor productivity in Sri Lanka. Trends and way forward dive into the groundbreaking work of Senior Professor H.D. Karunaratne, former Vice Chancellor, University of Colombo, Chair Professor, Department of Business Economics, Faculty of Management and Finance, University of Colombo. Mark your calendars. 1st May 2025, 7 p.m. onwards. Let's explore solutions together. Be part of the transformation. Pre-Symposium Webinar Series, Episode 4, International Symposium on Agriculture and Environment 2025. Interested in the future of agriculture and labor productivity in Sri Lanka? Join us for an insightful session as we delve into key trends, pressing challenges, and strategic pathways to enhance productivity in the agricultural sector. Agriculture and labor productivity in Sri Lanka. Trends and way forward dive into the groundbreaking work of Senior Professor H.D. Karunaratne, former Vice Chancellor, University of Colombo, Chair Professor, Department of Business Economics, Faculty of Management and Finance, University of Colombo. Mark your calendars. 1st May 2025, 7 p.m. onwards. Let's explore solutions together. Be part of the transformation.
Good evening, everyone. A warm welcome to all of you joining today's Pre-Symposium Webinar Series, organized as a part of the International Symposium on Agriculture and Environment, ISCA 2025. The ISCA 2025, organized by the Faculty of Agriculture, University of Ruhuna, is scheduled to take place on September 2nd, 2025 at the Gold Place Hotel, Colombo. This year, the symposium theme, Driving Innovations in Agriculture Technology for Climate Action and Sustainability. We are pleased to announce that extension of the abstract submission deadline for 2 weeks until 16th May. And we encourage all of you to submit abstract under the relevant sub-themes. And please visit our website for the more details. It's my pleasure to extend a warm welcome to our senior professor, H.D. Karunaratne, today's distinguished speaker, and Professor Gangan Samarvira, our moderator for this session. And I also extend my gratitude to all our local and international participants who have joined us for this event. And we hope this session will be insightful and engaged for all. And thank you for being here. And let's begin. I would now like to invite Professor Gangani Samarvira, today moderator, to take over this. Professor Gangani is the former head of the Department of Agriculture Economics and Agribusiness, Faculty of Agriculture, and the past coordinator of ISA 2020. Renowned for her academic contribution to the agriculture, economics, and agribusiness, she also brings extensive experience in organizing the international events. Dear Madam, the session is now yours for the moderation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tusita. Hope I'm audible to you all.
Yes, madam, clearly.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, very good. Thank you very much for giving me a very good introduction. Okay, very good evening to you all. First of all, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to moderate today's session of Pre-Symposium webinar series of International Symposium on Agriculture and Environment 2025, episode 4 on Agriculture and Labor Productivity in Sri Lanka, Trends and Way Forward. It's indeed a great honor and privilege for me to introduce today's resource person, Senior Professor H.D. Karunaratne. Senior Professor H.D. Karunaratne is the Chair Professor of Business Economics at the Faculty of Management and Finance, University of Colombo, Sri Lanka, and the former Vice Chancellor of the University of Colombo. He earned his PhD in economics from Nagoya University, Japan, and holds multiple master's degrees in economics from Nagoya City University and the University of Colombo. His research focuses on entrepreneurship, international business, international migration, labor markets, income inequality, and international trade in particular. With over 30 years of academic and professional experience, he has published more than 126 research works and over 46 Google Scholar citations as per the ResearchGate. On international front, he is a recipient of Japanese government postgraduate research, Mambushu, scholarship for 7 years, that means 1993 to 2000. He has served as an invited professor at Hosei University, Tokyo, Japan, and the Japan Foundation in Tokyo awarded him a senior researcher fellowship to conduct research at University of Tokyo. In recognition of overall academic and socio-cultural exposure to Japan, he was appointed as the director of the University of Tokyo, Sri Lanka office by the University of Tokyo in 2019. He has awarded Japanese Foreign Minister's Commendation in 2021. In the national context, Professor Karunaratne served key leadership roles at the University of Colombo, and currently he is the director of the Institute of Human Resource Advancement and the chairman of the Governing Council of the Institute of Policy Studies. This is a very, very short description of his long academic and professional journey. We are very fortunate to have Professor Karunaratne here today with us. Dear Professor Karunaratne, as an expert in the field of business economics in general and entrepreneurship, labor markets in particular, many thanks for accepting our invitation to deliver the speech on agriculture and labor productivity in Sri Lanka, trends and way forward, a timely, very important topic in boosting Sri Lankan economy, because improving productivity is key to economic growth. With due respect, I kindly invite you to share your expertise on this area with us. Before starting the session, let me to give a short notice to the participants. You can ask questions and clarifications at the end of the presentation. You can raise your hand and you can ask live questions, or you can use question and answer box, Q&A box, or the chat box. Therefore, please keep your questions, clarifications ready when the presentation is going on. Okay, let's ready for the session on agriculture and labor productivity in Sri Lanka, trends and way forward, the fourth episode of the Pre-Symposium webinar series of ISA 2025. Over to you, dear Professor Karunaratne. The audience is eagerly waiting you, sir. Thank you.
Very good evening to all. Thank you very much for inviting me. At the outset, I would like to thank Senior Professor Guttila Jayasinghe, Dean of the Faculty of Agriculture, Guna University, and Professor Gangani Samaravira, who is coordinator today and the chair of the session. And at the very beginning, I want to do a small correction that currently I am the chair professor of business economics at the Faculty of Management and Finance. I was former director in IHRA and former chairman of the IPS. Okay, currently we are trying to understand various issues in the context of Sri Lanka. Today we know today is very important day for the workers, employees. We call the Labor Day today. Actually, we know that celebrating the employees. So in this day, we are going to talk on agriculture and labor productivity in Sri Lanka. Trends and way forward. I believe that I'm audible and my slides are visible for you.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. So let us start some small foundation that we know agriculture and labor productivity, which are very important two variables we are going to deal with today's discussion. And the labor productivity in agriculture refers to the value of output per unit of labor input in agriculture sector. So it is crucial indicator of the efficiency of the economy and the sector and key driver of the economic growth in any society. Usually at the very beginning, economic activities starting as the agriculture is the primary industry. As the primary industry, so the per worker production or per worker output is very important to improve the living standards of agricultural workers. Actually, the people who are living with the agriculture mainly getting the all food stuff and their total revenue from the agriculture. So usually agriculture productivity is calculated, the labor productivity is calculated by the total production divided by the total employment, or the labor production in the macro level we calculate by the GDP contribution divided by the employment contribution of the sector. So basically in Sri Lankan context, we first discuss the macro level things, and then we will go into the micro level calculations as well. But I don't want to use the micro level statistics, but I will explain the micro level trends. So with the macro level statistics. So when we go to the regional first understanding, agricultural value added per worker in 2020, if we see that the logarithm of US dollar per capita employed in various regions in the world is here. You can see the lowest is in the South Asia. The South Asia's agriculture sector, which account only 16% of GDP, but employed 42% of the workforce in South Asia. So which means they suffers from particularly low labor productivity. So this is the issue when you compare with the other regions in the world, particularly that you can see Latin American and the Caribbean region has higher labor productivity, highest, and other developing countries we can compare. The South Asia is the lowest. So we are obviously in the lowest region. So more efficient agriculture sector combined with the more entrepreneurial non-agriculture sector and the private financing can improve the this sector productivity. So this is the regional context that we can understand. all other developing countries, agriculture productivity, labor productivity is higher than the region situation. If we move into the factors affecting agricultural labor productivity, there are direct factors where we can say the climate and weather, soil quality, pests and diseases, market access and prices, and government policies, as well as infrastructure. These are important factors influencing on the labor productivity in agriculture. So as the conceptual understanding, I think those who are specializing agriculture, they are very much familiar with that one. So with these factors, so climate and weather, we know globally, there is a climate change and global warming and all these. So extreme weather influence on the labor productivity. The soil quality has eroded due to the excessive use of fertilizer and cultivating in the same lands. And pests and diseases are well known in today's world in the developing countries. And the market access and prices, which are rural based issues in context of any country in developing country. The government policies are also supporting for farmers, maybe subsidies, regulations, and all these, and the infrastructure insufficient, and the infrastructure is not well in developing countries, particularly transportation networks, storage facilities, and access to information and all efficient efficiency level. All these are very, very important factors affecting in the global level. And agriculture, how agriculture practices affect the labor productivity. This is also another area where we need to understand. There are several dimensions how the low quality agricultural practices affect the labor productivity. Particularly technology adaptation. If we don't use more new latest technology, we will discuss in detail with respect to Sri Lankan context later. And the modernization of agriculture, which is always talking on how to modernize the agriculture. And irrigation and water management is essential for agricultural production and the productivity influencing. And the fertilizer and pesticides, improved farming practices, farm size and specialization, skill labor and training. So these are very important factors affecting on the labor productivity, particularly in the agriculture sector. So all details are here. I will send you the PowerPoint slides and the records. You can get these details. And moving into the how labor dynamics influence on the agricultural productivity. The labor is very, very, very important. We know mental and physical contribution to production by people we call labor. So labor availability is very important factor influencing on the productivity. Shortages of labor, especially during the peak seasons, can constrain the productivity because we know there are some garment factories close by paddy fields. When the paddy fields are occupied, they are absent from the garment sector. And when the garment sector OT and higher salaries are paid, they are absent from the agriculture sector. And the labor cost also important factor, that is rising labor cost can incentivize the adoption of labor saving technologies, particularly in advanced countries that the labor cost is higher than using the mechanization or machines. So therefore they use more capital than labor. And gender dynamics. We know in many regions, women play an important role in the agriculture, and therefore there is some argument the low productivity because the large amount of female employment occupied with the household work and other type of activities also. So that is another factor. Then household versus hired labor, also very important factor we discuss in terms of the dynamics influencing on the agricultural productivity. Seasonal labor demand is also another important factor where we discuss the agricultural labor productivity. Agricultural labor productivity. I think in the context of Sri Lanka, let's try to understand first the in the context of Sri Lanka how the agriculture, then the labor productivity. In the context of Sri Lanka, the government objectives in agriculture, as outlined in the national agricultural policy, what is the government expect from the agriculture sector? Increasing domestic agricultural production. They want to increase the production, any economy. Government wants to increase the agricultural production, particularly for food availability, ensuring the food production and the nutrition security, what we call food security. So the government trying to increase the domestic local agricultural production. The second objective of government with respect to the agriculture sector, enhancing agricultural productivity, increasing the productivity to ensure the sustainable growth. Because if the productivity is not growing, we know that particular sector or industry is not performing well. Over the long run, actually, we need to have productivity growth. So maximizing benefits and the minimizing adverse effects on the globalization on domestic and export agriculture. We know in the context of Sri Lanka, we are accustomed to practice export agriculture during the long period of colonial period, and after colonization we started exporting tea, rubber, coconut. The export agriculture productivity, and of course because of the globalization there are a lot of competition going on. And another aspect of government objective with respect to the agriculture is adopting the productive farming systems and improve the agro-technologies to introduce the unit cost and increase the profit. Adoption of environmental friendly technologies and use of more and more health harmless farming, that is another aspect. And the promoting agro-based industries and enhancing income and living standards of the farmers. These are kind of government objectives in agriculture. How these objectives work with the national agricultural policy in the Sri Lanka is also we have to look into very close with the data availability. So if we see the overall performance in long-term situation, we can see here contribution made by agriculture sector to GDP and the GDP growth in Sri Lanka is summarized in this table. You can see in periodically the GDP growth rate in Sri Lanka fluctuated due to various factors. So that 70 to 74 it was 2.95, and like that 75 to 79 it was 5.3. Like that our total average GDP growth during 1970 to 2024 is 4.28. That is our GDP growth rate. With respect to GDP growth rate, you know, there is a norm in the economics that how the GDP growth is important for a country's development. One is the substantial growth is needed, which means we expect at least more than 5% economic growth in any country to say that rapid economic growth. The second is that the durable economic growth, where the growth should be at least 10 or 20 years, more than 5% or close to 10%. So that is called durable growth. The third, of course, is we call self-reliance. Self-reliance means with the economic growth, we need to incorporate domestic input as much as possible. Then the GDP will belong to the country, not to the growth moving to another country. So anyway, that over the long run, we are close to that, the substantial growth where our average is 4.28. If it is 5, it would have been better. But the major issue with respect to the GDP growth in Sri Lanka is the severe fluctuations, high fluctuations. Some periods it's very low, like the 3%. Some periods it went into 7%. This fluctuation was brought by the mainly agriculture sector. That is the one important aspect we want to understand. The contribution of agriculture sector, you can see in the third column, where it has declined continuously. In 1970 to 74, it was average 28%, but currently it is only 8.3%. So which means the GDP has expanded, GDP has grew only as mainly due to the growth in the manufacturing or the industrial sector or the services sector. So the agriculture sector contribution has been continuously coming down. So this is one of the important characters of Sri Lanka. So as a result, we can see the agriculture sector growth rate. How the agriculture sector growth rate. When we compare with the GDP growth rate, agriculture growth rate has been the low profile in Sri Lanka. So even the average, if you take this period, our economic growth, I said that it should be 5% for acceptable, sizable economic growth. But agriculture sector growth over the long run was only 2.4%. That is from 1970 to 2024. If you take the last year economic figures, 2024, agriculture sector grew only 1.2%. So the low economic growth is one of the low production growth, low GDP growth in agriculture. Contribution by the agriculture has been declining. Meanwhile, the agriculture sector growth has been coming down and highly fluctuated. And particularly we can see very recent periods, that is 20 to 24. 20 to 24, agriculture sector growth in Sri Lanka was minus 0.24, minus 0.24, which means we have been negatively performing last 4 years in our agriculture sector. Because agriculture, we know, mostly the raw materials are sunlight, human, and the land. So these three things are essential raw materials for agriculture. Apart from that, we need chemicals or machines, or we need other type of knowledge as the inputs. So that's why any society, when sunrise is here, when the land is available, when people are there, agriculture cannot be minus. Agriculture cannot be minus. So this, of course, tell us about some other reasons are also negatively influencing on agriculture sector growth in Sri Lanka. So these statistics say us many things. The picture behind these statistics, I think we need to clearly understand before we taking the policies. So the policy formulation should be based on these figures. And of course, I will a little bit speed up. Then we know history of agriculture in Sri Lanka. I'm not going to read all this. Sri Lanka has been once the self-sufficient country in agriculture. And the colonial period, we developed the agriculture, export agriculture. And of course, the labor-intensive agriculture developed in export agriculture developed because of land availability and the labor availability and the climate. Those are the factors. And of course, after the 1948, food production has been promoting in the country, and the import substitution has been adopted. And then many manufacturing sector oriented raw material production and the river-based large-scale development projects implemented to expand the productivity and the agriculture sector. So then if we see another aspect of labor, now we talk a little bit about the agriculture, then the labor particularly in case of Sri Lanka, labor force participation, you can see the labor ratio in agriculture. The agriculture sector contribute to total labor force participation, particularly agriculture sector employment. If you see, it has been stagnant at 25 to 26% of the total labor force in agriculture. There's no drastic change during last 6 years, and the industry also somewhat similar, and the services sector has been also somewhat similar. So the labor force participation is diversified one, mainly participating large amount they are in the labor force in services sector. Then of course we can discuss a little bit about the current situation of the agriculture and the labor situation, particularly labor productivity in Sri Lanka. So agriculture sector, multifaceted issues that we can see: low labor productivity in agriculture compared to other two sectors, stagnant in most districts, some districts agriculture sector, stagnant shape we can see, particularly Gampaha and those districts, and marginal increase of the production, declining share of the GDP, and recent productivity slowdown. We can see the mainly agriculture sector productivity contribution is minimum to the total production. And in this case, we know particularly the distribution of labor force in case of the agriculture and non-agriculture. If we think about the employment status as agriculture sector employment status and non-agriculture sector status, where we can see agriculture sector contributing family workers and own account workers is highest. So which means that informal sector agriculture operates in Sri Lanka with the high informal sector. So this is one of the reasons why the labor productivity is low. So the task in agriculture sector, how do we take informal sector, how do we convert informal sector, particularly family workers and own account workers, as the registered or the formal workers in the agriculture sector. So then the productivity measuring and calculation will be more easier than that. Then the labor force participation in sector-wise, the rural, urban, and the plantation is here. So there you can see agriculture sector, the 28.7% participation, with the mainly the plantation sector is the highest agriculture sector contribution, the labor contribution, and the rural and urban sector is the has been the lowest. Even the provincial is there. I'm not going to discuss. Then if we overcome to finally the trends in the labor productivity in Sri Lanka, you can see the agriculture sector, the GDP share is here and the employment share is here. Once you divide the GDP share by the employment share, that is the macro level productivity, intuitively we calculate. So it is, the problem is in case of Sri Lanka, it is 31 to 29. So it is not 32 to 29. It's not, it has not been changing during last 6 years. But better off, the people are better off who are in the industry sector and services sector. So we know the services sector GDP contribution is far higher than the agriculture sector and the industry sector. So we can see the sector-wise agriculture labor productivity is the lowest and stagnant. So therefore, in case of development in Sri Lanka, we need to take very important aspects, very important policies for productivity improvement in the agriculture sector, particularly labor productivity improvement. So in that case, of course, we have to observe the land use pattern where the rice, coconut and tea dominates the land use of Sri Lanka, and strong bias favor for rice cultivation in Sri Lanka. The pattern of the land allocating among the crops has not changed, and the farmers have not diversified significantly into other crops. So these are some conclusions coming from the land use patterns. And the food consumption patterns are also very important. In that case, the diversified food consumption pattern is in Sri Lanka and declining some sectors. Mainly, we know Sri Lankans eat much rice. So the rice expenditure on rice has been declining, but it is still significant. And particularly we need for healthy diet, we need this. The lowest figure shows fruits and vegetable consumption. Actually, current situation, the average person 235 grams, but it should be 400. So therefore, expenditure on vegetables, expenditure on fish should be increased for the security of the situation in case of Sri Lankan food consumption patterns. Then we are moving to move into other sectors where agriculture and the food trade, where Sri Lanka is exporting agricultural products, particularly export sector also. We cannot see in terms of US dollars. If you see agriculture, tea, rubber, coconut has not much change. Only with the tea sector a little bit increase there, but other sectors the very marginal increase. But other sectors, if you because in the middle size shows the US dollar base millions earnings, so there's no significant change in recent past. So the major items in the export basket includes the tea, rubber, coconut, and other agricultural crops. So the other countries are also performing. So we have some issues with respect to the concentration of our exports into major markets like United States or United Kingdom and India. And all these we can see export concentration, particularly tea cultivation, tea exportation also concentrated into China and Middle East and some other countries. Then compared with the other neighbor countries, if you compare with the neighbor countries where the Sri Lankan situation is also investment to irrigation, we have made a lot, and the water management mechanisms we need to think about. And there are a lot of other approaches we can discuss in detail on this regard. But let me to move into the another important aspect of agriculture and the labor productivity. Other countries, advanced countries, why the labor productivity is high? Because they have entered into strengthening the value chain in agriculture sector. In Sri Lanka, the value chains have not much strong in the agriculture sector. Particularly, we know any product today is not produced by one person or one company. Today, the product of any sector is coming from the value chain, contribution made by different institute, different people. So in that case, the value chain implies how businesses go through to bring the product or service from the conception to deliver, design, production, marketing, and distribution. So these are very important areas. In terms of the rice value chain, you can understand the Sri Lanka's agro-business base, the rice value chain. The value chain is not strong in context of Sri Lanka because the wholesalers do a lot of problems. The intermediate people do the problems. So I'm not explaining that we can explain the all value chains in vegetable, and this is the vegetable sector value chain. And the challenges in the vegetable sector is also very, very important for the productivity improvement. The coconut value chain also, we can understand the situation, how the value chain, each and every contributor productivity, how do we increase when we talk about the value chain. It is another area where we need to focus on that. Challenges in the coconut value chain sector is also there. I'm not going to discuss. And the spices value chain, each and every value chain contribution, we need to investigate and increase the productivity in order to increase the agriculture sector value chain and the productivity of labor. So the value chain in contributing to the value-added products, the domestic and particularly different sectors, we can discuss the fish value chain and value addition, how the fishing sector productivity, labor productivity coming with the value addition. So the statistics are there. I may a little bit rush on these things. The key issues address the crop production and the productivity improvement through self-sufficiency in basic food needs, planned resource use, market competitiveness, that there are many other factors influencing on this sector. Another important area where we need to talk about productivity in the trade, agricultural product trade, the trade taxes and tariffs on import items. It is complex one, export items, and all affect on the agricultural productivity as well. Agriculture marketing is another area where effects on the agricultural labor productivity. The fertilizer subsidy is one of the important thing for labor productivity, because excessive use of fertilizer and the untimely use of fertilizer are making more problems. Agricultural land policy is also influencing on the labor productivity, distribution of paddy land by system of tenure, that has also influence on the labor productivity. Then the irrigation and water policy, particularly investment for rehabilitation, were started, and government invested in irrigation development projects. As I earlier discussed, that the river-based multi-purpose large-scale projects we have been starting from the like Galloya, or particularly Mahaveli has been the largest. So agricultural credit policy again should be focused on the productivity orientation. And the seeds and planting material policy. Also, we need to think about whether the government should provide the seeds and whether we are liberalizing that market. Agriculture research and extension policy is also very important aspects in this area. And agricultural mechanization policy, where mechanization is always coming with the agriculture, because without mechanization, you cannot expect the high productivity or high labor. So factors affecting on low productivity in agriculture, there are many factors like the low mechanization, technology adaptation, and the small land holding, use of the traditional farming methods, lack of credit facilities, poor management practices, labor shortages and migration. All these are influencing on the low labor productivity in agriculture sector. So pricing of agricultural products also issue, because pricing strategies are very weak in Sri Lanka. Issues in middlemen, that is one of the important factor, where the farmers always believe that they are not getting the right price, the low price they are getting. Consumers are getting higher price, so that there is a middleman. So how to eliminate middlemen? That is, of course, is coming with the how do we convert farmers as entrepreneurs? So farming and entrepreneurship should be linked to that. There are many policy and the market issues, external shocks. And we know that COVID and tsunami, and there has been many external shocks to the agriculture sector. Underemployment and inactive hours of the agricultural labor. And challenges faced by agriculture, vagaries of weather. We know the climate change and impact on climate, and the increasing labor shortage, increasing wages, increasing share of women, poverty, and the policy environment are also very important challenges where Sri Lanka facing. So particularly in human side, we can see stagnant public expenditure on agriculture, where the particularly agriculture mechanization, agriculture modernization, many production-based subsidies, not the raw material-based subsidies. We know in economic explanation, when we are giving subsidy, it should be the final output-based subsidies, not the raw material or input subsidies. This is the issue because of the five-star democracy in Sri Lanka. We have started raw material-based subsidies, which are not influencing on output growth. And the insufficient public spending, the lack of private investment, the structural issues. These are kind of human, man-made issues for agricultural productivity development. Potential strategies, what can we do to improve the agricultural productivity? One is promoting mechanization. As I mentioned earlier, the modern technology adaptation is essential. The land consolidation, how do we increase the land productivity and enabling the farmers to have large land rather than getting smaller and smaller land. Investing in human capital, particularly practical, the practice-based agricultural investment is essential. Skill development in agriculture sector and the knowledge of farmers, the research transferring research findings, improving access to finance, and the strengthening the market access and the value chain, encouraging agribusiness and the value addition, and particularly entrepreneurial behavior. Entrepreneurship in the agriculture sector should be enhanced, utilizing the digital technology, policy regulatory support, and the shifting towards the high value added agriculture. Roots of agriculture modernization coming in economics through the economics of scale. When you have large scale, it is easy to use the mechanization, and the private investment is essential. We have to promote not by the government investment, the private investment. So for that, we have to ensure the profitability is high in agriculture sector. If there's no profitability, private investment is not motivated. And the technology adaptation is essential, where we need to promote adaptation of new technology, promoting entrepreneurship and the enhancing strategies. So these things, in case of Sri Lankan context, we can see specifically like this, what we need to strategize the agriculture sector, key main approaches for modernizing agriculture, increasing efficiency, productivity, sustainability, and profitability. There are 7 suggestions. One is precision agriculture. We know the adapting the GPS, GIS, many new technology, sensors and data analytics, variable rate technology, and yield monitoring. And of course, mechanization and automation, advanced farming machinery, robotics, drones, many other approaches. Then information and technology, communication technology, we need to use biotechnology and crop improvement, controlled environmental agriculture, where greenhouses, vertical farming, there are many. Then the 6 sustainable farming practices and the livestock management technologies. So these are essential things to use for agricultural development. And particularly, we need to think about how can we change the behavioral patterns of agricultural labor. So that is why we need the economics, where we talk on the behavioral pattern changes under the behavioral economics today. So how can we nudge the agricultural farmers to have higher production? Typical economic explanation is enhance the profitability and enhance the entrepreneurship for agriculture. So how do we enhance the profitability for farmers? How do we create more entrepreneurial structures in farming agriculture? So these are essential items we need to think about. So I think I have taken much time. The 45 minutes given to me, almost I'm reaching the 44th minute, I hope. I would like to stop with that one and get the comments and suggestions or anything. Thank you very much.
Okay, many thanks, Professor Karunaratne, for your very informative presentation. Actually, I hope the audience maximum benefits from after hearing your presentation. Thank you very much for devoting your precious time on that. I think now audience can ask any questions from Professor Karunaratne. The floor is open for question and answer session. So dear participants, you can ask questions or any clarifications as I explained you early by raising your hand or using Q&A box or the chat box. So meantime, I kindly request you all to rename your, the message also given by the committee members. So rename your profile so that because certifications will be issued for you. So rename that one. And I kindly request you all to ask questions. And I'm sure Professor Karunaratne is ready to give any clarifications for your questions. Thank you very much. Till others get ready, Professor Karunaratne, may I ask one question, one clarification?
Sure. Please go ahead.
Okay, so now Sri Lanka actually because from years we are telling Sri Lanka is an agriculture country, but we can see the GDP contribution from the agriculture sector to the total GDP. So it's very low. So from your presentation, yeah, it's very clear. We got the information because the labor productivity is very low. So that's why. So because in Sri Lanka, approximately we have 22 million people. And all over the world, we have 8 billion around. So it is a great challenge for us to feed that nation or feed the global population. As the quick step, what you can suggest, because you have studied, you have expertise on labor markets and all. So you have mentioned actually many remedial measures. So with the time being, what you can suggest for us just for the world population and the Sri Lankan agriculture sector, what we can do?
Yeah, actually 7 dimensions here. I have mentioned the 7 dimensions. The most important thing what we have to understand, as you explained, that the agriculture contribute only 8% to the total GDP, and the employed population, of course, we know labor force is out of 22 million, we have 8 million population, out of which 25 million people, 25% are the agriculture sector employees. So Sri Lanka is no more agricultural country. Sri Lanka is services oriented country. We cannot write Sri Lanka as agriculture country because our 60%, almost 60% of production is services sector, and more than 40% of employees are employed in the services sector. But the important thing is that the agriculture sector, we need to understand complexities in agriculture sector issues because agriculture, what we can see still we are practicing very traditional technologies, and we need to train. We need to provide knowledge and training programs for farmers. Number one, the training programs for farmers. In other countries, there are various kind of training programs for farmers. So to what extent we are providing training programs for farmers is essential question. And the second, of course, the research findings, what we are doing should link to the agriculture sector to create entrepreneurship. The one of the biggest issues in Sri Lanka that the farmer has not understood his role. The farmer believes that the farmer means cultivator. Farmer does not mean cultivator. Farmer means entrepreneur. So the cultivator, what farmer is doing, farmer cultivate, and he expects that somebody to purchase the goods from him and for particular higher price. But this mentality we have to nudge, we have to change, and we need to create that. Now, if I compare the small farmer in Japan and small farmer in Sri Lanka, the difference means even the land plot is very small. In Japan, the farmer has a small mill, farmer has a small truck or lorry. and farmer carries his production to the cooperatives. The cooperatives provide the goods to the market. So there is no intermediate person. Farmer believe that farmer is an entrepreneur. So in the context of Sri Lanka, I think it has get worse now. The most farmers becoming daily wage workers. Daily wage workers. So then it is a serious situation, because when the farmers becoming daily wage workers, that they compare their wages with the other sector daily wages. So then they shift into the construction sector, then they shift into the foreign countries, or to the urban sector. So therefore, we need to educate farmers, and we need to train the farmers, and we have to emphasize the highest profitability, highest wage in the agriculture sector. So these are some of the actions in detail.
Okay, thank you very much. I think you gave a very good explanation for my question. Any other questions from the audience? You can raise now, or you can just put your question in the chat box. I hope the audience got full clarification. I mean, all may be clear to them. Any questions from the audience?
Yes, madam. Thank you very much for your informative presentation. So I think you have explained, so what are the way forward we have to do to improve our agriculture and other activities to improve the GDP and everything in our economic in our country. Sir, what do you think about what kind of policies we have to improve, especially when we consider about improvement of the agriculture sector? Which side we have to improve the policies in our country?
Yeah, actually, policies are, thank you. Actually, policies are guidelines in various sectors. So what I believe that the government or private investment or anything, before that we need to start from the training of trainers. I think there are a large number of agriculture sector officers. Agriculture officer training also one important aspect, where the first we have to train them, and then going into the training of trainers, and then going into the agriculture realistic labor training. So the in case of Sri Lanka, I think not only agriculture, other sectors also, when you compare with the Japan or other advanced countries, the knowledge transferring, dissemination, and training, these areas are very big, not networking. And another one important is networking. Particularly, I think I spoke on the value chain. Because other countries, their production is very high and steady because of the value chain. We need to strengthen the value chain rather than individually producing or the individual transportation or something. So the value addition, particularly agriculture sector, we need to increase the value chain. So these are some of the aspects we need to consider.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. I think so. Most of it means that post-harvest losses, and there are so many food waste in our country. So I think it is very valuable step to think about the value chain management in agriculture. Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Avanti, for your question. And I think the audience, if you have any questions, you can raise now. Any clarification? Okay, if not, sir, thank you very much for
Thank
joining
you.
today with us and while sharing your very valuable thoughts and while devoting your precious time. We really appreciate on behalf of ISC 2025 your valuable contribution towards success of ISA 2025. Thank you very much, sir. And
Thank you.
again, I would like to thank the audience, the participants who actively participated and just listened and got some informative information from the presentation, and especially the organizing committee who organized this session very, very nicely, because now this is the 4th episode. They have conducted already 3 episodes. So I'm really appreciate the effort, the team. Actually, their tireless effort supported to make this event a great success. We can see in September the real event. So I think these pre-webinar series fuels and energize the main event. Thank you very much for organizing these things, organizing committee, and many thanks for those who supported in many ways to make this event a success. And especially the coordinator of ISA 2025, Dr. Avanti, and the team. I hope they are working well and work very hard towards success of the event. Hope you all we can meet physically in the session ISA 2025. Again, thank you very much, sir, Professor Karunaratne, for joining with us, accepting our invitation, and delivering very, very, very good, informative, and eye-opening presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you, madam.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
madam. Thank you very much.
Thank you.